Welcome everybody, welcome to Z2R, and welcome to the Z2R Standard Tournament 2025-2026-ish, with the quarterfinals game 1 Chadbert going up against Tyvarius. Without further ado, let's hand it off to our wonderful, lonely commentator, to Elendar, and thank you, Slackers, so much for tracking. Let's go.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. I think this might be the first match we have of the quarterfinals here. We're down to it, down to our top 8 players. Somewhat unsurprisingly, our 8 quarterfinalists are the top 8 seeds qualifying over from the Swiss. So we're all the way on the far end of the bracket with Chadbert Tyvarius. Game 1 today of this best of 3. Winner of this going to go on to face the winner of Angel FM Sawney Wrath. We've had a lot of prior tournament champions getting beat up here, so pretty good sign we're going to get a first-time champion here. Only Big Slamu hanging out up top. And I think Coper might have won one at some point. Jay Coper, unfortunately, kind of a perennial second place. I know he's come up short in a couple of these, but that's a race for another day. We've got 2 pretty close runners here. I mean, at this point, all of the runners are pretty close. Pretty much anyone can take it down. We've seen this flag set give us some absolute jet seats and some horrible monstrosities. We've seen seeds finish at almost 2 hours, and I believe as little as 21 and change was the lowest we had, or 41 and change, excuse me. 21 minutes would be an absolutely insane time for this flag set. We're not on the max rando yet. That's coming next. But going to be the same bracket flags. We're not changing them at all as we go through these brackets. So continuing on with the no candles, pretty much anything goes as far as standard setup. And we should be good to go in just about a minute. Everybody running on the very slightly new version. Just a small update that we made just to fix a bug that could have come up. Didn't affect anyone in the tournament, but just wanted to make sure that we're not going to have any incompletable seeds. Although we can, of course, have some horrible, horrible brutality. One of our races recently had 2 different required items deep into a required dark DM and led to some rough combat all around. But this far into the tournament, expectation is both of these runners, I know for a fact, perfectly capable at doing dark combat well. It's still, you'd like to get a candle early. You'd like to see what's happening, but they've practiced all of the commonly occurring early scenarios, your red Dyras in Magic Container Cave, dealing with the absolute mess that is Medicine Cave early on. But I'm sure they're hoping for just at least some kind of early thing to make it not as awful. But we are starting with, as usual in standard, our 4 hearts and 4 magic containers. That not going to change at all during standard, but of course, max rando is going to max rando us. And here we go. We are off. And what do we got as a sighting? Could be islands early, could be vanilla-like. A little hard to say early on. That's definitely looking like islands. Speaking of, difficult early mazes, here's a difficult early medicine caves. Here's a immediate dark medicine cave with a red Dyra in it. Oh, Tyvarius gets past. He got that Dyra, but unfortunately did not live quite long enough. Enemies do not lock in as dead until your experience starts ticking up. And so this red Dyra is still alive. Good strategy, though. Lures it out to the edge so that he can stab it without having to deal with any of this other nonsense. Okay, easier enemies down at the other end. Only 50 for the red Dyras, but the other enemies given pretty good experience. And potentially a sign early on of a difference in how our runners are going to spend their experience. Ty taken Magic 2. A lot of runners, this tournament especially, have been really deprioritizing Magic levels early, getting really high attack, really high life, and then just power leveling off of both of those. But Ty at least willing to take Magic 2 early. Did make his Reflect spell castable. We'll see about Life spell and an extra container for Chadbert. So as usual on islands, pretty much our runners are going to take every connector cave they can find. Ty finds Parappa Cave here. You definitely don't want to risk, randomly not taking a cave and that leads to where the boots are and then you're way behind. Life is castable in theory. Doesn't immediately have enough magic to cast it, but less than 64. I'm sure we'll get a check fairly soon as to how effective Life is going to be. Random Life effectiveness is on, so somewhere between 1 and 5 bars. Chadbert finds Fairy Cave. Ooh, and it's a trap. Dyra on each side might not make it out of this. Might have to take an up A. We'll see. Yeah, nope. Not going to get out of that at these levels. Okay, so the red Dyra is only 50 points. The orange one's 150. That is an unusual experience distribution. Ugh, that's not what you want to see. Not going to get Jump Spell. Is that Jump Spell going to be in Mido, so not going to get Downstab easily. You're going to need some medicine or a fairy. First palace sighting, a no item P2. Runners not interested in trying early palaces without the possibility of items. Oh man, here, if you like pain. Oh, whoa. I was going to say, Tyvarius finding his entrance to DM, and we were hoping for pain, hoping for an early DM dip. Unfortunately, DM immediately leading to the east. It does kind of look like this might be a volcano east, so we could still have to go to DM if this is segmented. But we'll see. Ty determines that this east is a lot more open than islands, and he's perfectly willing to just do early east. And Chadbert probably going to be here right around the corner. Ty finds the 500 P-Bag Forest. Very welcome. Gets a 1-up instead of the P-Bag, but not a terrible one either. A game over would be a little bit rough here. All right, Magic Key. So it's going to put Palaces in Logic for Tyvarius. Unfortunately, access to early east, access to Palaces means that the seat is just completely opened up logically. And that means that boots might be quite some time coming. New Kasuto's got the medicine for that jump spell, which we hopefully are going to see soon. Tyvarius will come in here to get the fountain and a hint about where this hammer is going to be. And our hint is water's in the west. It's a little annoying. Oh, Well, I talked about it could potentially be a long time till we find boots with how to open the seed is. Tyvarius just blitzing his way through this seed to the boots. That's a huge advantage. Now, even if he takes a game over, he'll be able to go back to the west and clear the rest of that out very efficiently. And unfortunately, Chadbert not finding his way to that little cave to DM. This is huge for Ty. All right, one item P1. Definitely with a magic key in hand, Ty gonna do this one. And immediately takes a death. And probably an up A. Not gonna up A? Oh, nope, now he's gonna up A. Gonna have to be careful running out of platform left. Okay, it makes the jump. So Chadbert gonna check sort of the rest of this west. Does find the last palace, so we're gonna see what that is. Kind of nasty enemy set just even this first room in P1. Gets a magic refill. Looks like that life spell was pretty good. Didn't get an exact count on it. All right, so now Chadbert gonna find those caves, gonna be on Death Mountain in just a second, and hopefully also find his way east. What do we got in P1? A heart container? Eh, that's fine. All right. Oh, that's unfortunate. Chadbert finds that DM leads to the east, but he wants to look elsewhere on the west first. And that's going to lose him quite a bit of time due to not having those boots. Nice little setup for Tyvarius there, dodging those Moas. And should be an end to this P1 pretty soon. Can't be that much more. But yeah, so far a divergence in, as I was talking about earlier, divergence in leveling, routing. Tyvarius sort of just taking levels as he goes. We'll see if that changes now that he's got a magic key and won't be fairy dependent. But Chadbert just refusing to take any magic levels whatsoever, as he's now also here in the east going to have his boots in just a second, so not too far behind. Old man reminding Chadbert to check the old Kasuto hint. Still have not seen anyone yet in the tournament to actually do that. And Chadbert given a pump of the fist on his camera to having acquired those boots. No one wants to dig around the west when it's islands without some boots, and both runners getting it not too bad. You could definitely have seeds where like you find the boots 30 minutes in when it's a islands west and you're like, man, did my opponent grab this like immediately? Am I like super screwed? But pretty close for both runners here. Unfortunately, Chadbert didn't get a ton of extra information out of that extra time he spent in the west, so he is kind of just going to be a couple of minutes behind, but certainly enough that he can make it up. Horsehead going down. Let's see what our boss drop is today. Oh, it's 100. Just short of a level for Tyvarius, and he says, forget it. I'm just going to go fast. Understandable. Experience has sort of been good enough. Yeah, Tyvarius locking in. He's just taking levels as he goes. Just wants to go fast. Not interested in optimizing his experience. Going to cost him a little bit by the time he gets to GP, but overall not going to be a huge time loss. I mean, hopefully. It's always the problem with GP, right? Is that, you get in there and extra levels, generally speaking, don't do a ton until you take a game over, and then they were all the difference in the world. All right, Boots also blocking Thunder, so we are just a glove away from go mode at this point, at least in theory. Have not seen enough of the rest of the East to have any sort of for sure confirmation about that. Yeah, and Ty decides he's just going to go back west now with these boots and clear out the rest of it pretty efficiently. At the very least, I suspect he wants to get his water so that he can get a hammer. We've got that rock block cave there. That could be an item cave as well. We've only seen... No, we've seen both transportation caves. So that rock block cave has to be a item. Any rock block caves are always... I mean, it could be a transport, I guess. I didn't see the other side of that. I don't think that was the other side of Fairy Cave. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's hard to understand for sure. Okay, another hint. Saria has that mirror. So we got a mirror in Saria. We've got some water somewhere in the west. Oh yeah, Saria has the mirror because it's just sitting under the table. That's just vanilla. I have done an update that is not going to be live for this tournament to prevent towns from having hints for themselves. Chadbert also in one, also gets his heart container, basically just taking the same route as Tyvarius, a little bit behind. We'll see if attack 3 gives him a little bit faster clear over attack 2 that Ty had at this time. Ty is going to go in to pick up a candle. I was curious whether he would also get these hints on the way, just checking the outdoor hints. But he wants the candle enough that he's willing to spend the time to go get it. So really at this point, our biggest question is, as usual, where's the glove? We've gotten no hints, no information about it. Chadbert just barely gets with that 100 enough to get this double level here. Gonna be 415. So quite a bit better levels at this point. Oh, Ty just missing that cave by a little bit. Gonna have to go through an encounter here. Now we, of course, can see these caves in glorious color. Yeah, kind of funny. Both runners taking pretty much identical routes through the east. Doing P1 before water tile, and then going immediately back. Chadbert's gonna take a look at DM. No, not gonna take a look at DM. Just going straight back west. So yeah, identical routing to Tyvarius in the east. Clears his P1, gets everything he needs. He's gonna get the last couple things. Boots lead Tyvarius to a bridge to the maze. So confirmation that probably don't need the raft. Again, unless that volcano is segmented. And I didn't see anyone try to go into it, but it may have been that there just was no cave. And if that's the case, then we will need a raft to get to the other side, but we haven't seen the raft tile at all. So at this point, it's probably, if it is a raft tile to the other side of the volcano, it's probably in DM. So our DM dreams are alive. Okay, 4 bars of life from Tyvarius. I think it was the first time we got to see for sure how much it was. Oh, 500 from the blue Lizalfos. This is a good farm. Ty did a little check of shield spell to see if it was fire there, and I didn't actually see the results. It was too close to the edge of the screen. Don't think we've seen anything yet that is for sure fire. We've got confirmation Raft is in 2, and the trophy is in 4. So a little bit of extra hint checking from Chadbert, potentially going to be some time gain from him. I mean, if that raft is in fact our way to the other end of the volcano, that hint is huge. Death Mountain holds the fairy spell. Heyo. So P4 for trophy for raft. Get the fairy spell in DM, finish going through, find that raft tile, go raft to the other side. Chadbert throwing his hands up in the air, upset at me for letting the hint be for the inside of the town. It's one of those things where I will remind everybody that if you intend to, if you're not going to go through for hints, oh man, here's a glove for Ty. Okay. So it's just, aside from the hints that Chadbert has, it's a pretty easy seed. We'll see if those hints are enough to save him enough time over Ty. But like I said, extremely minor time save if you want. If you're not going to go through Saria to the other side or get the hints, it is slightly faster to grab what's under the table first and then talk to the lady to get the mirror hint. Partially just a little bit of general time saving on the time it takes to spawn her, but mostly because in the case where it is the mirror, you save about 2 seconds, maybe 3 on the dialogue. All right, so Tyvarius aggressively beating up a bunch of blue Lizalfos for 500 bucks a piece, getting up to roughly level parity with Chadbert. Here's P4. So potentially, maybe these hints aren't going to be as huge for Chadbert, just because Tyvarius sort of stumbling across all of the important bits anyway. Pretty much anyone was going to find that trophy, with this item room being just the first room of the palace. And Chadbert's still basically just on the same route as Tyvarius. Just a little bit behind. Finds his water. We'll see if he turns this in. Well, I was going to say, see if he turns this in before going through to the maze, but also in general. It is the shield spell, which is pretty good, but when you've got 4 bar life, it's not something you need. It's maybe not something he wants to go out of his way to get. Yeah, Tyvarius rocking his traditional bearded Link sprite. Like, my favorite thing about the bearded Link sprite is not that it gives Link a beard, which is great, but that it removes the beard from all other bearded NPCs. That's how Link got his beard. He stole it. As previously mentioned, Chadbert continuing to be on basically just an identical route to Tyvarius, about 2 or 3 minutes behind. So he's going to have his gloves shortly, and I'm sure when he finds out that's P4, he will absolutely go in there and get his trophy. And if you're there, you might as well clear it at this point. Reflect, castable at Magic 2, and that's all he really cares. So hopefully nearing the end of this P4 for Ty, there can't be too much more in it. Let's see as Ty finds a dead end. So just going to take the next available right. This would be a great spot for Thunder if Chadbert could afford it, but not quite. Second item in 4 found. It's a kid. So that was good for a magic container, so probably not going to be turned in. I mean, Ty is down 1 magic container that Chadbert found that he missed, but I think Thunder might be castable for him right now. If it's not, he could always just turn that child in. It's not too far away, but I'm sure he's hoping to find a container somewhere along the way. All right, Chadbert determines that experience is so plentiful having gone through that maze that he is just going to start taking some magic levels anyway. And I don't blame him. I mean, he's on pace to be 6, 7, 8 or something like that. Ty finds Rebo and blocking away, sort of inching his way forward. And going to remain a palace ahead. And oh man, once again, just like a tiny bit of experience short. Wouldn't it really funny if that was a 200 bag instead of a 100, and then he would be literally 1 experience short? But he's not going to slow down, just taking stuff as he goes. And yeah, no raft tile sighting on the maze, so for sure, raft is going to be between the far side of the east and Death Mountain. So Ty can get that raft now. He doesn't know that Death Mountain contains the ferry. If he does, we'll see if he wants to go back. What if he knew for sure that Death Mountain had the ferry, he would go back east, do a little trip out of the way in the east, and pick up his hammer before heading into the mountain. Ideally, get your fairy spell and raft away at the same time. But he may not do that and just gamble on Death Mountain's items not being important. Fairy not guaranteed to be required, but of the not guaranteed to be required things, it is probably the most likely to be required. This is, of course, counting glove is guaranteed to be required. I'm just going to take the 0.1% or whatever it is that you don't need a glove and round that away. Well, Ty is going to go east. Gonna pick up his hammer. This is good. This is nice, safe technique. You're going to go into Death Mountain, might as well pick up a hammer first. You don't know if you need it or not. You don't know if you're going to come across the rock. This is something you could gamble on. This trip is going to take about a minute overall. But so far, Chadbert's hints that he has that Tyvarius doesn't, not really coming in handy. Because Ty is just checking all of those spots anyway on his natural route. Chadbert not going to gain any advantage from that. Sort of the last chance for Chadbert's extra hints to really come in handy would be if Ty doesn't dig out Fairy Spell from Death Mountain. It sort of just depends on when Ty is going through the mountain, whether the raft is really easy to find, or, you know, do you just find the rock in a hammer cave incidentally on the way? Always hard to say. Ty's got spell, so he's got all the things you could want heading into the east, except for jump or fairy spell. We still don't have a medicine. We still don't have any way to get upstab while we're on the far side of the east. Okay, Ty finds Bagu. Does get that extra container, so that's going to give him some safety in casting Thunder. Just going to check this Hammer Block Cave. I don't remember if we've seen all of the item caves or not. Like I said, I thought this was an item cave. But we'll see. I'm a little curious. Yeah, okay, so it is Pillar Cave. I'm a little curious what he's looking for here. The only thing he could still really need... he doesn't know where Fairy Spell is, I guess. So this could be Fairy to him. Medicine would be pretty nice. He also didn't go through and get the hint for Medicine. I don't think Chadbert did either. Medicine would be jump for down and up stab. Oh, that okay. Confirmation on Chadbert's side. I missed that earlier. That shield is fire, so our runners probably not going to pick up fire if they see it. Oh, the second rock block cave down here. Interesting. Okay, Chadbert did get the medicine hint. Okay. He didn't mark it on his tracker, so I thought that he had missed that. All right, Ty fully done with the West. And he should know by now that that means that he needs to go to DM. And that is the way that he's headed. Man, and every single one of these bosses, Chadbert's getting a double level and Tyvarius being just short. As they're now evened up on gems. Oh, Ty not going to DM. He's thinking maybe he missed the raft tile on Maze Island. Maybe I missed the raft tile on Maze Island. Nope, it's not there. He's just double checking. Nope, we are going into the mountain. We thought we got away with it early, but nope. Would not be a Zelda 2 seed without a trolley dip through DM. All right, Chadbert forgoing some of his overworld checks and decides he wants to do these western palaces first. Not going to cost a lot of time either way, because GP is on the west, so you're sort of... These are free to do whenever you want. He knows pretty much where everything is. Doesn't need to really pick anything up here. He's just doing this because he needs to at some point. He's got plenty of experience. Why not now? Oh, and it is a quick trip to the raft, so Ty not getting either item in Death Mountain. This is good news for Chadbert. It means his information that Fairy's there means that he will almost certainly pick up Fairy on the way and have a potential advantage there. Ty gonna pick up everything hanging out here in New Kasuto. Starting off with a magic container. Why not? Chadbert clearing the fastest P3 in the West is now a gem up. Probably doesn't mean a ton because Ty absolutely going to do the same just hold right strategy. Was that P3 or P2? It was P2, I think. I was paying attention to what Ty was picking up here and just missed it. And Ty stepping out for just a second. With how close this race is, I know sometimes you get to step out during a race, things happen. But this is time that Chadbert is, catching up little by little. All right, Ty's back. Here we go. Just a quick little break. Still probably say Ty is in the lead, but that fairy spell going to be a big question mark. At this point, I don't think Ty is likely to go back there soon. And every item location that he checks is going to cost a little bit more time. Obviously, that medicine going to be something good to pick up as Chadbert continues his tour of the Western Palaces. Attack 5 looking real good here. Taking down pretty much everything here, 1 or 2 hits. That is unusually high for Attack 5. Gets Ty back on the west. He wants to get his down stab, presumably. We'll see if he remembers where that is. And I think it would probably make sense for him to do palaces as well while he's here this time. I mean, if he's still looking for Fairy, he might as well look for it in some palaces. A 65 for Thunder at Magic 5 is on the cheap side. Stormurge did need a container to be able to cast it, but Chadbert working his way through this elevator in P6. With a good attack 5, should be a fairly fast Barba. No chance for down stabbing, but hopefully with a not too terrible roll can get him in just a couple cycles with this kind of damage. Nice use of the Thunder spell. Kills the Moa, kills the enemies fighting despawns the fire that was about to hit him. All right, so Ty now has down stab. Is he going to go back to DM? Is he going to go back to the east? He's going back to the... Okay, he's going back to the east. He wants to get up stab too while he's on his tour of stabs. Understandable. There's a lot of just these little things in this seed that you want to do eventually. There's no real-time save to doing them early or doing them later. Okay. Nice second attempt super jump for Ty. Chadbert done with his Western Palaces. So now time for him to do a little bit of West cleanup, maybe. Maybe just go straight to DM. Looks like that's where he's headed. All right, so now we're going to see... Nope, not go to DM. I am corrected. Oh, he needs to pick up his hammer before going to DM. That makes sense. In theory, right? Like, this loses a little bit of time because you know you're going to get medicine once you get to the east, and you know you're going to have to come back here to get up stabs. You're going to have to double dip that connection. But the risk of Fairy Spell being under Spec Rock is too great. All right, so Ty going back through Death Mountain. We'll see if he is going to dig the mountain or if he's just going to go back to the west end of the east and finish clearing that out. There are a couple of palaces over there, so not a terrible idea anyway. If he... Yeah, this is the danger, right? Is that P5 is going to be over here as one of the palaces he still has to deal with. And if he thinks fairies in P5 and spends time digging P5 for items, that could potentially be a big time loss. Enough for Chadbert to catch up in overall progress, for sure. I know it looks like, you know, Chadbert's 2 gems ahead right now, but those 2 palaces were pretty quick, and Ty has so much exploration and overworld clearing advantage that Ty's still probably a little bit ahead on the surface. The big question is going to be, how much is his lack of having that hint for Fairy and DM going to hurt him? And this is just P3, so this is probably, if he's going to lose time, it's going to be in P5 for the most part. Chadbert with his hammer clearing out the last of spots on the east. We had a hidden forest blocked sunken P-bag cave. Good news for Chad, in addition to him having all the information he needs about Fairy, is that he probably will be able to just do a clean one-shot through DM in the east. Not going to have to do any double dipping over there now that he has this spell. And it's an important spell to get, because that's going to be required for both his stabs. I guess for him it's not. I mean, since he is definitely going to be getting Fairy Spell out of DM, wouldn't have cost him a ton to miss out on spell, not have jump. He could just fairy his way through things. All right, Chadbert going into the valley, just gonna crush some of these palaces. Wow, that is the easiest west end of the valley. All of the encounters spawned in a big dead end trail to the east. I've seen that happen before. That does happen occasionally, just how the valley generates, but it's a very, very kind valley for our runners in this one. Oh, this is potentially annoying. Get some early required downstab here. Got the drop 4-way. So this was my favorite room to decide. Put some very silly speedrunning tricks in if people want to do it. All right, so Chadbert makes his way pretty quickly through the east. Did not dig out Fairy Spell before going east. Maybe he wants to get this medicine. I don't know. I would absolutely not leave DM until I got that Fairy Spell. It'd be one thing if you don't have the hammer and you want to just keep checking other things because it's a potential time loss, but so Chadbert picks up his flute, gonna have his medicine in just a second here. Fairy gonna be the last thing left for them to find. Maybe what he's thinking about is he wants to get downstab for sure. He wants to have jump for sure just in case for GP. So go get that medicine, walk back into DM, get Fairy Spell there, and that gives you an excuse to up A out of, if you need to go into Hammer Cave, just up A out of Hammer Cave and then grab your stabs from there. Then go back east and finish off your palaces when you're sure you've got everything. Unsure. Gonna do P3 first. And maybe he knows that fairy is a DM and he's just gonna gamble on it not being required. That would be it's definitely a gamble you can take. It's quite a gamble though. I mean, at least do a check and see if you can find the rock. Tyvarius doesn't want to drop, just holding left all the way through here. And he's going to get turned around into that drop, whether he likes it or not, into another drop. He's going to take this one. Going under the boat. And does this just lead back up? I don't remember what direction the elevator was in this room. Even I don't remember all the details of all the new rooms. That's just a straight through. Okay, so we are on. We took a big path to the left, and now we're just coming right back to the right underneath all that. And just taking an elevator up. This is all a loop. Womp womp. That's why Tyvarius looks surprised when that looped. Just a reminder that we are on a palace style that does work on a coordinate grid. So if you go like Ty did, 2 to the left, down, 2 to the right, and back up, you will end up back where you started. So if this left early on is required, then that's a little unfortunate news for Chadbert if he decides to come in here. Because he does not have jump or up stab. I don't know if you can clip those blocks without jump. So Chadbert is going to come in here. And yeah, it's looking like we are logically going to need up stab to get through here. And he has not gotten that. And that's going to be a big time loss. He doesn't have down step. He can't even get through. I think you can go around this first round. Yeah, he can go around. Let's take a little bit longer route. Although maybe you don't need to take that first left, because I think you can go left here and connect in with it. Yeah, once you take this drop, though, can't go left from here. And so he can't get onto that path Tyvarius was on, but Tyvarius looks like he found that it just looped too. Man, this P5 is mean. I'm actually really curious. I'll post a screenshot of this, of the layout of this P5 after the race is concluded in the Discord if anyone's interested, because I am actually really interested in seeing how this is structured. Was the answer just go right? Was the answer literally at the very beginning of the palace, just hold right? Wow! It's actually the shortest 5 ever, and both runners taking a bunch of time loss. You literally just had to hold right. It's like 3 rooms in. You can't be happy if you're Ty right now. This could have been like a 5-minute time loss, plenty enough for Chadbert to catch up. It's still going to be a time loss, though. Chadbert not having access to that up stab or jump spell, limiting his options and funneling him into Guma quite a bit faster. So our runner's only going to be maybe 30 seconds apart on gem placements. Chadbert's still a little bit behind because he's going to take him a minute or two to go get jump spell in his stab. So Ty's still in the lead. I mean, Ty has to do P2, but P2 was so short that... Oh, he's going to do P6 too? Ah, man. P6 is a little bit longer. P2 was nothing. It was going to be over in like a minute. But with P6 too, maybe it's, you know, sort of caught up here. Maybe that was enough in P5 to catch Chadbert up. It's going to be really hard to say. And we'll know in a second when Chadbert finishes, you know, getting his stabs, doing his overworld loop. Tyvarius finish up these last couple palaces in the west. Like I said, I think it's like 1 more room to the boss here in P2. It was very quick for Chadbert, equally quick for Ty. Just hold right. So it's going to come down to P6 versus how long it takes Chadbert to go get jump stab, both his stabs. And then it's going to come down to fairy, potentially. We'll see if Chadbert does decide to go get that before going to GP or not. He could be an absolutely crazy person and not go get either stab and just go to GP now if he wants. But there are so many potential stab blocks in GP, both up and down. Down more than up, because you could bypass some of the ups, but even then, bypassing the up stab blocks would require jump spell, which he does not have, although he will have in just a second here. All right, Ty looking to get to P6. Didn't quite remember exactly where it is, but it doesn't take him too long to find. Finally gets this attack 5. Sort of ended up way behind on levels here. But attack 5 is so good that attack 6 can't be that much better. Yeah, Chad knows Fairy is in DM, but on his first trip through DM, not only did he not go look for it, like, he didn't look at all. He didn't even, like, walk all the way down the coast to see if the rock was just sitting there on the coast. He did absolutely no checking in DM, which may be a sign that he is not interested in Fairy and just wants to put foot to gas. Yeah, Chadbert's going full gamble. No Fairy, no stabs. You get down stab, but not up stab. He does have jump, so he can do up stab skips if he needs to. But... and Ty's still not finding P6. I was not expecting Chadbert to be this gambly. It definitely can save him a lot of time if it pays off. And Ty, I didn't even realize he just has no idea where P6 is. Is this it? Okay. It's a couple of minutes he really couldn't afford to lose. So now he's got to be hoping that Chadbert gets blocked behind something here. This is crazy, gambling on Fairy not being required when you know where it is. But gets a quick T-Bird down. Unfortunately, quick T-Bird can be a bit of a curse in GP because it means you don't get any kind of information about which paths aren't required. Can really be anything at this point. Chadbert deciding to go left here? I think there is no right here. I think this is the version of this room that doesn't go right. I don't remember for sure. Okay, Patrick confirming that's the one where right is at that end. There's like a mirrored version of that room. Here's a point where no fairy can hurt you. I have to deal with all these crumble bridge rooms. Not too birdie on this one. Speaking of birds, here we are. Yeah, there is some kind of an indicator which version of that room it is. I just don't know the new rooms well enough. Oh, never mind. Chadbert getting punished for not getting up stabs, so this is going to be a time gain for Tyvarius. Here he is. This is what Ty needed. Just absolutely jackhammering the crap out of Barba here. And so now Ty gonna be the first one into GP with upstab, and this race has swung again. Chadbert forgetting how to get to the east. You gotta go into DM and then take that cave right next to you. Yeah, Fairy could potentially still be required. If Fairy turns out to be required, this is gonna be a huge... Chadbert's still gonna be way ahead because Tyvarius has absolutely no idea where Fairy is. And I'm working on the presumption right now that Chadbert has not forgotten where Fairy is. He does have it marked on his tracker. So this is an intentional decision to not get Fairy by Chadbert. Ty just doesn't want to spend the time, you know, looking blindly for it. It's a choice between taking a magic level or holding off. He's going to hold and try to get attack 6. So Chadbert could go hunt for fairy while he's getting upstab here. His decision about gambling may be adjusted here. Having a little bit of problem with the super jump. So a little early, then a little late, a little early again, decides screw it, he's just gonna go around. Oh man, Patrick with a smart call. Hold off on that level, kill T-Bird, take Magic 6 anyway after you kill T-Bird. I like it. Didn't even occur to me, but that's the smart play. Just use the existence of attack 6 as a delay tactic. Very clean pendulum, getting 3 and 2 hit cycles, no problem at all on T-Bird. Thinks about the magic. Gonna take life instead. Okay. Decision neither of us thought of. So both runners now in GP, both runners have upstab, do not have fairy. Chadbert not going to have to fight Thunderbird again, so just a roughly 2-room lead for Ty. But Chadbert could make that up because he knows about this up dead end. Because Ty is going to at least stick his head up here. I guess this probably only gains about half a room of time. Oh, Ty going to check the right side, though. There's another, like, half a room of time Ty's going to lose. I mean, we're going to measure Ty's lead here in number of rooms, because it's low single digits. It is, in fact, not even a full room of advantage for Ty. Absolutely anyone's race. Oh, no fairy spell. And the lead has swung on one bird. Yeah, Chadbert knows about this bird here, makes it through, no problem. Ty takes another death. That's rough. So now Chadbert not only with about a room of advantage, but 2 lives. And he's going to have to take it up A. So now Ty needs a Chad game over at this point, which is very possible if the number of birds keeps up. Absolutely going to be the winner of this race, determined entirely on execution in GP at this point. Yeah, we talked about the ability to do upstab skip to bypass some of those upstab requirements. That room is specifically designed to prevent you from doing that. It's only clearable with upstab. Yeah, a fairy block would be wild, but unfortunately for Ty, a fairy block would also be heavily in Chadbert's favor, because he doesn't know how to get it. Nice little magic refill for Chadbert. Finds a waffle, gonna check his elevators first. Ty just absolutely getting bodied by this room. Could try to push the bird into the lava. Yeah, that's what he does. Nice. So that right Chadbert had access to, there's a number of different ways. There's a right earlier, there's a left, this elevator here. Chadbert also taking his required lava bath. Trying to go fast and you end up in the lava. So he's going to wait for the bubble. Here we go. Nice and easy. Gets a free bird out of it. Oh, that bird respawned. And Chadbert priming up Thunder. Does not want to take any chances. There's another bird in its way. It is going to get knocked back. If you thunder a bird that's in midair and it doesn't kill it, it does still knock it backwards. So it can be used to save yourself crossing a pit if a bird decides to jump at you. Another left here. This could connect to where that other left came in. Gonna need a life spell from Chadbert, but it's very cheap, only 30. Ty pretty clean so far, gonna get his magic refill. We do have always alternating birds on in this one. Okay, we've got this this room could be potentially jump blocked from the other side, only jump or fairy blocked from this side. Yeah, welcome to GP. I mean, especially some of these rooms that have lava and chickens. The vanilla enemy is a lot tamer, but we have not only enemy shuffle on, but mix large and small enemies on. So there could be birds where any enemy appears, even a lesser, easier to kill enemy would be there normally. And so you can get some rooms that calm themselves down and be nice, like some of the waffles, you get fewer birds in them, or you could just get a waffle room with 6 birds in it. So Ty down to his last life, got bopped in the same lava as Chadbert did. And a forced left for Chadbert. Speaking of waffles with birds in them. This one had a pretty easy configuration to take down. But he does cast shield anyway. You see waffles, you cast shield. That's a smart plan. All right, Chadbert learning his lesson, being careful whenever there's a crumble bridge in lava. Oh, dead end for Chadbert. So there was another left fairly close. Another left a lot further back. Chadbert determines this backtrack is good enough. I wonder if Ty, feeling low on resources here, might potentially do a left gamble. Of course, you can only find the boss up an elevator, down an elevator, or to the right. The boss cannot be in a left-facing room, but sometimes you gotta go left to work around and take your way through, so both runners now in the same room, given a high five. Unfortunately for Tyvarius, taking the same route as Chadbert, not going to help him catch up. Possibility now that the best thing for Chadbert might be a game over / up A. Just to, I mean, it's obviously not something he wants to do, but after finding this dead end, it might put him on the path towards success sooner. Because there is an early left that they didn't take. In general, you'd probably prefer lefts that are lower on the map. Yeah, Tyvarius just up-Aing. He almost no resources left. His last life, low health, low magic. So this is the first of the lefts that Chadbert can take. And Tyvarius, as he works through here, is probably going to take a left in that lava room. Oh, quick dead end for Chadbert. That's not what Ty wants to see. Ty fans are going to want a long dead end. Chadbert burned a bunch of times, so now they're probably going to end up in the same left. Probably Chadbert a closer trip back to that lava room. And he'll be able to get a fairy too, which he'll probably take at this point. Only 8 magic for jump, so is going to be able to clear it. Knows about that bird being careful, but gets birded anyway. Last life for Chadbert now. And yeah, execution and GP, 100% going to be the determinant of who wins this race. Barring a fairy block, in which case Chadbert is going to be way ahead because he has that hint. It's going to come down to execution here. Chadbert burning life. Got to be careful. This room stinks. Oh, into the lava. And now Ty back ahead. As Chadbert takes his first game over. It's still absolutely anyone's race. The lava and the birds can stop anyone at any time. As long as Ty sees this early left and takes it instead of continuing on. Oh, gets himself into a little bit of a situation with the birds here, but... All right, gets around. Nice stabs. All right, so Ty in the lead, I think about 6 rooms ahead. Certainly not an insurmountable lead. But we'll see what happens when Ty comes up to his first left. Ty knows about this blue bird. Wisely cast shield. Doesn't take as much damage. Yeah, like that room Chadbert just went through. If you have to go the other way through that room, that's a fairy required room. There's still quite a number of them we haven't seen. Chadbert goes into the lava. He is not happy about it. Okay, no one's gone right here. This is another option that we sort of forgot about. This room absolutely goes right. We want a nice magic recovery for Ty. That's going to help him out with his health quite a bit. Nope. Okay, that's a dead end. Didn't see that earlier. Not going to help anyone. So left in the lava room, the only route we have left now. We had a couple of lefts later. We already took those. We had that one right at the beginning. That's now off the list. I don't think it's too far for Ty to get there. Yeah, about a minute and 20 seconds, minute and 30 seconds-ish lead for Ty. Just based on how long it took Chadbert to get to that room. Okay, this is the room he needs. This is where you really wish you had Fairy Spell. It's so nasty to get through this room with a bunch of birds in it. All right, he's going to be more careful here. Cast Shield, get the birds into the lava, work your way through slowly. Going to cast Jump. That's potentially a bit of a mixed blessing here. Oh, cast Shield. Cast Shield, Ty. I thought it was Fire Shield. This jump is so hard to make with Jump Spell. Ty, maybe not as experienced with this room going left. That version of the room, that last jump, if you have Jump Spell on, is really hard to make. I think it can be done, but it's not easy. Yeah, going through without Jump Spell this time. So Ty on his last life having some problems in that room. This is what he wants. This is going to convert to him going down. Kills that Kingbot, despawn any other enemies in the room. Except for that. All right, here's Dark-like. So Ty successfully gets through. Just taking one less nasty game over. And this life, he's got so much resources here. He's got full life 8, multiple cast of shield spell. Pretty much 0 chance of taking a game over to Dark-like here. Get your GGs in chat for a crazy race. Ty gonna take it down in just a second. See if he gets the sub 110. And yes, official time 109.59 for Ty. Absolutely wild. And he is just so relieved, it looks like, to have gotten through this one on top. It absolutely could have been anyone's race. Yeah, now Chadbert finds Dark Link just a little bit behind. He's throwing his hands in the air. I'm so close. But like I was saying with what I was saying earlier, when Ty found that dead end and had to up A, that was the advantage he needed, right? Being forced to go back to the start just got him back on earlier, just forced him to get onto that path he needed to be on. Very quick Darkly kill from Chadbert. Gets quite a catch up at the end there, but 1:11:09, just about a little over a minute behind. Chadbert, unfortunately, unable to interview. Hopefully we get Ty in here to talk about this, because this has been one of the highlights of the tournament so far. And it looks like probably going to be sometime Monday for game 2. This is a best of 3, so it's not over yet for either runner. And I'm curious, 17 minutes in GP for Chadbert here. The stats screen, yeah, only 14:40 for Ty. That basically all of that difference ended up being made up in GP. I'm really curious about if Chadbert had gone and picked up upstab before going into GP, it could have been wild. We've got Tyvarius here. Cheat sheet, man.
Hey, thanks. Nothing like seeing every room of 5 and every room of GP, right?
Yeah, this one was absolutely wild. For most of the first half of the race, you two were on identical routes, and you were about 2 minutes ahead, just with a little bit cleaner exploration of the West. What we were worried about is Chadbert was checking all his hints along the way. He knew Fairy Spell was in DM.
Oh, nice.
And so there was a possibility that with how long it took you to do that 5, and Chadbert got quite a faster clear on that 5. There was a possibility that, it was going to come down to a fairy block. In the end, Chadbert full gamble DM, got there about 2 minutes ahead of you, coming in with no upstab, no downstab, no fairy spell.
Oh.
Got booted because there was that very quick upstab requirement. Went and got upstab, and so you two were back into GP with upstab about a room apart. We said it was going to come down to execution and GP, and boy did it. That GP was rude to both of you.
I had to laugh at, what was it, like 2 lava baths that I took just jumping straight down the hole.
Yeah, you definitely took more deaths than Chadbert did.
Okay.
But what really saved you in the end was you got all the way to the bottom of that really long path and found that dead end. And when you got there, you were just out of resources and took it up A. When Chadbert got there, he had a lot more life and magic in reserve, an extra life.
Okay.
So he walked back out and took that other left down there.
Oh, okay.
Found that left. It was just a dead end, and then game overed on his way back to that room. That ended up being the correct left. Yeah. Meanwhile, because you had to take that up A, it just put you back on that path sooner. And you just obviously took the first left you could find.
Yeah, after that half waffle room, I knew there were 2 lefts and a right left. Sorry, 2 lefts and a right remaining.
Yeah. And just took the first left you could find, and that was it.
Yep.
Learned a lesson about cast and jump for that room, though.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, like, for the life of me. I think it's going left to right. Jump helps, but going right to left, it actually kills you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's that last platform is so high up. It's a really awkward jump.
Yeah. And that was just honestly nerves. I know Chadbert's a heck of an opponent. And I think the entire time I'm in GP, I'm like, he's got to be right here. Yeah,
I mean, you two were, again, neck and neck, basically, most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just came down to A little bit of GP luck, a little bit of GP execution.
Yeah, on my way back to the western part of the East in the world's freest Valley of Death, I'm like, I have to go through DM. I know the other part of the East is right there. I'll just grab Upstab now, otherwise I'm never going to get it. So it sounds like that was also like a minute difference.
Yeah, we were thinking that I was thinking Chadbert would go and get that instead of like doing New Kasuto to get medicine for his stabs. He could have
gotten that fairy.
Yeah, could have gotten fairy there. I mean, fairy would have been fantastic in GP the way that turned out.
Yes, it would.
Just with because both of you had quite a number of bird-induced trips into the lava.
No, it was one of those too where it started out so linear and like T-Bird 2 rooms in. I'm like, come on, are we gonna get this kind of a GP? But it turned out to be a good one. I was all for it, and then the seed was definitely just, hey, clear your overworld because there's nothing in palaces.
That P5 was hilarious though, because neither of you just held right in that P5.
Just full send that right, yeah.
Yeah, if you just did that was like a minute long P5, minute and a half.
It would have been so free.
But Chadbert was unable to take that. When he was there, he didn't have his stabs yet.
Oh, I see.
And so he couldn't take that left that you did because he didn't have jump or upstab yet. And so when he finished checking the bottom part, just went all the way up the elevator, checked that right, and gained. You were about, again, 2.5 minutes ahead the whole time up to that point, and then basically lost it all in P5.
No, definitely a fun seed, and I'm looking forward to watching it back. Thank you guys for getting this on short notice.
It's super fun. I would say this so far one of the highlights of the tournament for me.
Chad reached out to me last night because I had reached out to him last week because I'm actually going on vacation next week. I'm like, hey, is there any chance we could do at least one of our games early? So we originally planned for Monday, and then I think because he's been so swamped at work, I think he forgot it was a holiday, so we might actually move the time of that one. We'll see. We'll make sure to give notice if we do to a little earlier.
Well, I'm around, so I have a vested interest in this match now. I want to see how it turns out. So good luck to both of you in hopefully the next two races. I'm hoping to see a game 3. I know you're not.
You know, I'll hold off on all my feelings entering the standard tournament this year, but it was one of those where I'm just like, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to play some good races and, hang out with some good people. And that's just the mentality that I've held through it. And it's one of those things where, yes, I want there to be good runs, but if anything ever comes at the cost of like the mental state of a runner, my HR is going to come out here for a second. Yes, what I do, if it's ever like a mental state of a runner's in decline, by all means, back out, pull out, take your time, take yourself, be you, because we're here to have fun and play a 40-year-old game together, No one's winning piles of money for this, so
yes.
I think just having that kind of attitude toward it has made it so much more fun. There's still nerves and stress that comes with racing, top-tier opponents. But I definitely think that's helped me personally.
Yeah, it's we're all here to have fun, and like I said, play a 40-year-old. It's 40 years old now, man. I'm old.
Yep. It's close to. I
don't think it's quite 40 years.
It's not quite 40,
but it should be in a bit. We'll have. I'm sure there'll be some celebrations.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be a grand old time.
Yeah, old being the operative word.
But no, appreciate the comms, restreamers, trackers, everyone who put this on. Chadbert for being. I've said this. Every one of my opponents so far this tournament has just been a pleasure to schedule with, which makes it, again, so much more easy and fun. Just knowing that part's taken care of because everyone's got crazy lives these days. So, yeah, I got nothing, man.
All right, GG's. Yeah, I'm just gonna double up on thanks to BT and Ty for helping put this on.
Alrighty, thank you so much to you, Elendar, for doing the commentary, and of course to both of you, Chadbert, not being here, but as well as Ty, for putting on an amazing show. That was big fun. Thank you so much. That's it for now. We'll be back with more racing in the next few days, and of course for the rest of the tournament. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good evening, and see you soon. Happy Valentine's Day.